Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. I'm Dorothy. As we have segued into November and December, you're going to notice there's a theme.
Isn't there usually a theme?
Well, there is this year.
Okay.
On a couple of the shows, and it's all about giving back.
Yep.
You can call it the holiday season. You can call it the Christmas season. We're gonna move away from that next week. We're gonna have Jamie McDevitt on, who is going to talk about her new business called Putter Girl, and to talk to her about her she's been in the real estate business for 25 years. So we're going to pivot next week and then continue on talking to people who are, transformational figures in Moore County. Our guest today and for the whole show is Keith Moneymaker. He is the owner of Sweet Dreams Mattresses down on 150 Commerce Avenue in Southern Pines. But he is, Keith, I don't even want to ask you how old you are, but you're way younger than what it is that you do for people all the time, because you're a very giving guy. You started a foundation, DREAMS4ALL, and I have a lot of guests on this show in the last 15 years, and normally when we talk about somebody giving back in the community, no offense, but they're usually older than you.
It's okay.
You maybe you're 40?
36.
36. That's Dorothy. At 36 years old, you would not have even wanted to know me.
Me neither.
You would have said, "What? Who is it? Who cares?" Tell me about your foundation. Tell me about the, because it definitely had a big impact on you. There was a significant event that sort of put you in that direction, huh?
Yes. So, family business, Sweet Dreams. We deal in mattresses. We're a mattress retailer, right? It's a big white square. You put a sheet on it and you sleep on it. But it's also I never really knew kind of what my purpose was when I took the business over early, like 2011, 12, when I graduated I went to Pembroke, actually. Oh. UNC Pembroke. And, but I always liked interacting in my family business. I grew up in my parents' business. I always liked dealing with customers. I'm an extrovert. I like talking to people. I'm very social.
Yep.
But I always kind of like, you get that feeling, you don't really know what it is, like of just like whenever you do something makes you, I don't do it because it makes me feel good. I do things because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
But there was always a feeling I got when I did certain things, and I never knew what it was. So in the mattress business, people have to trust you. You have to build strong relationships to buy a big white rectangle and trust me to know what's in it.
Right.
You're going to spend thousands of dollars on a big white rectangle and just assume I know what I'm talking about. It takes trust. So I got really good at that, and people trust me and invested in our business, and we perform on average like way higher than your average mattress store across the nation, and that says a lot to like our trust in the community and our business. But I would have people come in the store at different occasions, and people would be shopping for a bed, and they'd have their kids, and they'd have a budget, and it's you always question why people have the budgets they do. You don't try to read in too much of the story, but somebody comes in and wanted like a $500 king set. Well, that's just non-existent, but you kind of read the situation. They got a couple kids and maybe the car looks a little bit, there's certain things you pick up on. It's like, okay, they can, not that their budget's $500, they can only afford $500.
Right.
So we pick up used beds all the time that are nice. We live in a very affluent community. So on several occasions, I'm just like, well, I've got a nice used bed in the back or at our warehouse. I said, would you be interested in that? They're like, well, for how much? I'm like, nothing. You can have it. And just like the conversation changed. And I didn't really know what that was. I just did it once in a while because we had nice used beds and I wanted to help somebody out. Well, Hurricane Matthew struck Lumberton, so kind of near Pembroke area back in 2016.
Right.
And I saw a video from Mike Rotowski, who owns Atlas Inspections.
Yep.
He had a video. He was down doing home tear-outs. Now, here we are 45 minutes north of that area.
Right.
And 4 months after the storm, people are still living in churches and schools and gymnasiums. Nobody's moved back into their home yet. Their homes are still full of water. And here we are, one of the most affluent counties in the state. And I would mention it as I was talking to folks about it. It's like, oh, I didn't even know they were still dealing with that. People, we only see what's in our lane a lot of times. We get tunnel vision.
That's right.
And I saw a video, and it was like outside of every home, the water had gone away, but was a pile of wet furniture, and on top of that was a wet sagged mattress. And I commented, and I still have that video, and I still have that screenshot. We have nice used beds. When people move back in their homes, connect me to the right people, and we'll provide beds. Because when you move in your home, regardless of the situation, what's the first couple things you have to buy? Food, water, sleep. Sleep is your third basic need. You can move into a home without a dresser. You can move into a home without a couch, but your bed is your safe place. It's
Right.
it's where you feel safe. It's where you rest and recover. And all that didn't go through my head then. It was just like the right thing to do. They lost everything. I've got used mattresses. Let's fill that need. And then shortly after that, the 501c3 Dreams4ALL was created late in 2017. And I saw the need was greater. It's not just people lost everything through a disaster. We have homeless shelters. We have friend-to-friend recovery centers, Samaritan Colony, Adult Teen Challenge, Bethany House,
Right.
Family Promise. Both of those, Adult Teen Challenge and Samaritan Colony, are building women's homes. There's tons of places that provide a safe place for people to lay their head that are going through something. We all have a family member or somebody we know that has went through one of those problems, whether it was domestic abuse, recovery, alcohol, drugs, whatever the case is. And at the end of the day, people need a hand up, and a bed is an expensive thing to do. And these nonprofits are doing that thing in that space and doing that work. And beds are one of the most expensive things they have to put in those homes. So I saw a huge way to fulfill that need. So I just started reaching out to local homes, local fire departments, places that needed beds, and piggybacked it on the manufacturers, or we'd keep the really nice used beds and just kind of willy-nilly, giving beds out where we could. And then decided, okay, once these people transition out of this home, they're going to need a bed again. They're going to need, when they move into a home and get, like we just said, when they move into their home, food, water, sleep. Sleep is their third basic need. So they go out of this transitional home, they go through all this recovery and all this work, and they move into a home, they have to sleep on the floor. What do you think comes back into their head? It's not helpful. Right. So providing a bed not only to the nonprofit that supplies, and they can keep funds in their pocket to provide more for their programs. We provide the bed. We provide a form for that nonprofit to fill out to get a bed for that guy or that lady or that family to get a bed to the home that they move into as well.
And nobody had been fulfilling this need. Go back to 2016, 2017, and you sort of stumbled upon it in a way, but it moved you enough it gave you a purpose. So here's a question I have in my business, in the real estate business. Sometimes we deal with people who are older couple, for instance, moving out of their house or downsizing or moving into assisted living or whatever, or they've passed away. There are beds in these homes, but the nonprofits that take furniture and things like that will not take mattresses and box springs. And can you tell us why that is, and what do you do to how do you offset that? How do you combat that?
So we've had to actually, I don't want to contradict anything I'm saying, but we had to actually stop taking used beds from the general public, just generic drop-offs.
Right.
If I'm working with a business or a real estate agent, we can work something out to take those nice used beds. But the reason majority of nonprofits don't take beds and nobody's doing this is because it's a mattress. It's used. It can be gross. It can have stains.
Right.
There's a lot of things.
Right.
So it's less risk to not take it. Me, I like risk, not in that manner, but the risk to them to take it is if a Habitat or anybody else took that bed, they have to now pay to get it sanitized.
Right.
And a lot of times the bed's stain, and then it's just too much work to bring that bed back to life.
I get it.
And just recently, with our retail store, when you buy a bed in a mattress store, you take the old one back. That's how I acquired, because when you buy a bed, you remove a bed.
Right.
So that we keep our nice used beds that we go through, and then we'll deal with local businesses or real estate agents. We have a drop-off place for that. We don't do it necessarily, unfortunately, for the general public because it's such an expensive item, and it's hard. It's expensive to dump. And unfortunately, a lot of the beds that have gotten dropped off when we had an open drop-off program were gross and had to go to the dump anyway. So we have to use, unfortunately, fortunately trusted parties that we know and do business with that can verify the bed's stain-free and not older than 10 years old. And if that's the case,
okay, that's the prerequisite.
That's my prerequisite with working with a
10 years.
business or a real estate agent. Because I'm across from Goodwill. I see days Goodwill is open and people will just drop stuff off. And I mean, a lot of that stuff is going in the garbage, so we just don't want to end up being a drop off. We want to be able to reuse the beds. So
tell me about the sanitation process that you use.
So sanitation, the sanitation laws to resell a used bed in North Carolina, and every state has their own. There's a sanitation and heat. You can use a heat treatment, or you can use a Sterifab treatment, which is kind of a spray chemical to, quote, make it resellable or reusable, that the next person that has it feels comfortable with it and there's nothing on it. So we, from time to time, use the heat process, but you can ask me about this in a little bit, but we've really shifted to being able to give away brand new mattresses. So we aren't in the used business. We still keep the nice used beds and are able to use them, but 90% of the beds I'm giving away now are new, and I'll tell you about that whenever you're ready.
Okay, while you're bringing it up, I'm not going to let you get off it. How is it that you can give new beds away?
So being in the mattress business, I have relationships with manufacturers. So I'm a
Right.
big relationship guy.
Yeah.
So we do great business with a lot of manufacturers, and I've made our relationships like, hey, this is what we need to fulfill, like, it's nice to have used beds, but I know there's a space and the manufacturers can help. Maybe not give us money, but there's excess, there's returns, there's comfort swaps, there's expired product, there's all kinds of excess that they have and that they can provide to me, and then we could run it through our program as a nonprofit. So they can donate it through Dreams4ALL as a 501c3, and we can distribute it through Dreams4ALL to our local networks.
And you are responsible for the pickup, and
They bring it to me.
they do bring it to you, and they're donating them to you. And you're helping them out in a way,
Oh yeah,
because what are they going to do with those beds if they can't sell them?
right. So they can't sell them. So one company, Tempur-Pedic, like sends us, whenever I reach out, I can get a tractor trailer load of beds, which is pretty cool. I mean, you're talking, it's pretty cool to have the relationship to call up and get a couple $100,000 in beds donated for my organization.
Wow.
And they'll drop it off at no cost. I deal with other manufacturers that I have to pay for freight.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff costs the warehouse. So the caveat is that it's great to get all this stuff. It obviously incurs expenses, which we have fundraisers and stuff for, but a lot of the times, like, these big donors donate, like Tempur-Pedic, they donate a lot of kings. Well, unfortunately, a lot of the families we help don't have space for kings, so we have to find unique ways
Right.
to use those kings, because I can't pick and choose. I have to take what they have.
Sure.
So we've done things in the past, like first responder, teacher, adoptive family giveaways, and just have an open forum and let people that meet any of these three requirements, we'll give you a bed.
For many years, I've been giving to Christmas for More, and now it's under the auspices of the Sandhills Coalition.
Okay.
And they would ask for you to adopt a family and with children, and they would make a list of the things that they would want. Well, the things that they would want were not toys for the kids. They were necessities: pillows, pillowcases, slippers. Beds are just too big. I mean, there's no way that people can handle giving a bed individually. So that's where you come in.
That's where I come in, and luckily, one of the manufacturers that I use,
Yeah.
the beds come rolled in a box. So we've been very blessed with a couple big manufacturers that donate the bed into boxes.
Oh.
So now I have the ability, when gone through my program, I still have a lot of people reach out because, I'm the face of the nonprofit. So for multiple years now, because my name has kind of been out there,
Yeah.
people reach out to me directly through multiple facets. But the best way to do it is, like, Dreams4ALL is going to become, like, we just had a brand new website launched.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that people request beds through affiliates.
Yeah.
So if they're going through, any nonprofit in Moore County, and by the end of next year, we'll have every nonprofit in the surrounding counties have a form to request beds from us. And they can come pick up a bed at no cost, or if they need beds for their physical home, we'll provide them at no cost. So the surrounding 8 counties that touch will be able to meet those needs. So we'll have a form, though. So we have what we're called as a retailer, a partner.
Right.
We have an affiliate. An affiliate is a nonprofit that is our disbursement. They disperse the beds for us. So we've kind of shifted from dealing with the general public to keep things clean, because unfortunately it's a lot of back and forth. So people can go on dreams4all.org, and if they're going through a program, whether it's Tamber Place, Friend to Friend, Habitat, Family Promise,
Yeah.
all those places have a form to request a bed at no cost through them.
That's great.
And if there's always going to be special cases, people lose everything to a fire, or
Yeah.
a spouse passes, or there's different things that somebody's diagnosed with cancer. Sad, it's a tough thing to go through. Like, so I'm very high sensory and very aware of that stuff going on. So that'll be, I don't talk about much of that stuff, but that's like, things I'm always on the lookout for in the community. And I think that's what sets us apart, is because I've gone deep in the community instead of trying to open a bunch of stores all over the map. Like, going deep, not wide, is why we've been so successful in the business. Fact.
You speak like an old soul. My guest is Keith Moneymaker. He's talking about his Dreams4ALL Foundation. It's fascinating and it's interesting. Every agency that you mentioned in the first set, we've had on this show at some point in the last 10 or 15 years.
Wow.
Every single, and there's so much need in Moore County, and making people aware of the need is a good thing, not just this time of the year, but 12 months a year. Let's come back in the second set. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to All Things Moore County. Keith Moneymaker is our guest for the hour. We're talking about his foundation, Dreams4ALL, and you have gotten yourself in a very short period of time fully networked with all the right agencies that have a need. Mm-hmm. So you've been hyper-focused on servicing Moore County, but you are also now at a position where you're pivoting and you're actually going to be spreading this outside of Moore County, mm-hmm. going nationwide?
Yeah. So in the mattress industry as a whole, we throw 50,000 mattresses in the dump every day. 50,000 every single day go in the trash.
Oh, my gosh.
And guess what? Who's touching most of those beds are small independent retailers like me. Somebody's buying a new bed at their store, and they're getting the old one. The old one's going in the trash, or they're putting it out behind the building, or they're giving it to a local church. There's no program behind it. So all those beds are going in the trash, and I think of like the Hurricane Matthew response. We had 300 beds that were all positioned to go to the trash. We were able to keep and give a new life. So what does that mean? Think of any great program, right? Uber owns no cars. Airbnb owns no hotels. I'm speaking from a nonprofit sense, but sleep being our third basic need, I'm like, there's retailers that I'm networked in Idaho and California and Arizona and Texas and Tennessee and Dakotas that have all shown interest, and some that are currently already our partners that already do something similar, but there's no like system or program behind it. So I'm so passionate about this. I've done so well with it in Moore County, and we're able to respond. And it's great for the community. It's great for the nonprofits. It's great for the business. And the more the business does, the better the nonprofit does. And it's a beautiful circle. And so I want to give this to other dealers that are like-minded like me, small independent retailers. We call them partners, and they have the ability to give back in their community. They have the ability to give back in their communities. So small independent retailers like myself.
Right.
So they pick local affiliates, which like we have here, the ones I mentioned. So they pick affiliates in their town that are near and dear to them, and they put those affiliates apply to be an affiliate for Dreams4ALL.
Right.
And then they use that store as the vehicle to donate back to their communities. And then they use local sponsors, like we have 9 businesses in Moore County that sponsor us on an annual basis. So we teach them how to raise the money, how to donate the beds, and how to get the beds to those nonprofits in their areas. They're already working with them. They just no system behind it. So now we can replicate at a bigger level, and even just one bed a week in a bunch of dealers is multiple families a year that are off the floor in their communities. And people talk about that.
You grew up in Moore County,
mm-hmm.
and this was your family business
mm-hmm.
that you got into right after college, or?
I grew up through it. I was playing Xbox in the back. My family, yeah. So downtown Aberdeen, I don't know if you remember the old Bernie Hardware building.
Oh, yeah.
So that my parents bought that, and it burned down in 2001. They bought and sold used furniture. That was their business. It was called Moneymaker's Trading. And in 2001, it burned down. Roofer caught it on fire. And my parents were set. My mom owned Linda's Pinehurst Cafe, so she had her restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Over behind Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Clark is my great uncle. So very intertwined in the community. And then my dad was determined to kind of do something else for himself. My family was, and towards the end of that, he was selling used furniture, antique bedroom suites, but all those would need a mattress. So towards the end of that, before that fire happened, he was selling cheap mattresses. So when he's trying to figure out something to do, there was really no mattress retail space. So ever since day one, I've got a picture in my office of me and my brother painting the first store, which is right beside Champion Car Wash. And then we shifted to the Sly Fox. We were the placeholder while the Sly Fox was getting developed, which, did you know that was the first car lot in Moore County?
Where's
The
Sly
Fox is? There's a
That was an
list.
antique. Wasn't that an antique
We
store
were
also?
something like that, yeah. And there was in the back. I remember we had it all. Mattresses were all kind of. It was a weird setup, but we had it set up as a second mattress store,
Okay.
the placeholder, while they were developing the Sly Fox, and then we got this location we're at now, which I can thank Dr. Oakley wherever he's at out there.
So you've
for
been
that.
there 16, 17 years?
We've been in business 22 years total.
Right.
Been in this location about 12 years.
About 12 years.
Over by Walmart.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's a great location. People see it all the time. I've been in there. You've had very good salespeople. Buying a bed, just as a consumer, there's so much information out there in social media about beds, and then you click on you want to go shopping for a bed. I want to just segue a little bit.
Okay.
And you get 20 links. Discount, avoid the middleman, buy direct from the factory. I think when people, it's like buying a diamond ring. You have to trust the diamond cutter for the stone and the cut, the clarity, everything. And it's the same thing with mattresses. It's a purchase of faith.
It's purchase of faith. It's such a commoditized item. Now, as people are just buying, these white rectangles, and so what are you doing when our retailers? I was sitting here talking about like other retailers that are doing things different in their communities. How are they setting themselves apart? You can't use the word local, small, best delivery, best price anymore. Those things are getting used by all your big chains.
Right.
And mattresses, like you said, as soon as you click an ad, the marketing is tracing you down.
Oh my God.
So if that purchase is so important, like your sleep is the key cornerstone to your health and wellness and your rest and relax.
Right.
You really want to click a button and buy it online, or you want to try it first.
Right.
And I hammer that down, and not to mention with our program Dreams for All, when you buy from Sweet Dreams, we repurpose your old bed and give back to a local family in need. We're defining purpose behind our business, and people also see extreme value in that. So it doesn't set us apart as saying we're just locally owned or we have the best price. It gives the ability for the retailer in another state to talk about what they do in the community and why, because what's setting them apart from the big guy.
So many people think of Moore County, as you've referenced a few times, a very well-to-do county. There's a lot of poverty in Moore County. There's a lot of
And growing.
Heartache, and it's a tale of two counties, the southern and the northern, and the two don't always meet. Right. You've lived here all your life, and at the holiday season, we take time to pause because there's so many people that are not in the same situation that we're in, and you can give and you can donate, but it's not direct impact. It's not almost anonymous. You write a check, right? But what you're doing is you're getting in people's faces, and the people that you've recruited, who are some of your partners who will come to you. You mentioned realtors a few times. We want to get involved in that as well, because we have situations that come up where we find good furniture, but we don't have a place to put it, and we can't donate it to Habitat. They won't take it. But I do want to ask you a little bit about, you have a very impressive sponsor pool. And I'd like you to recognize some of those sponsors, because they're in some ways, they're the lifeblood right behind you.
Yeah, they are. They believe in the mission and believe what we're doing.
Yeah.
And fully support it. So I've got some great companies behind me. So Chad Taylor is the owner of Pro Contracting Services, PCS. You probably see his orange and black trucks.
Yep.
You've got I've got Air Specialties of Pinehurst, who's an HVAC company over in Aberdeen, and then I have J Signs and Graphics. It's Jeremy White. He's over in the shopping center behind Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
I've got Window World of Fayetteville, Aberdeen, and Spring Lake. John Bell and Brian Wilder, great guys. I have Ashley Schaus. She's a realtor, Property Dreams.
Kellerwood, right?
And Meese Property Group, Birch and DeMera Meese, and Spartan Property Management.
Yeah.
And I have Blarney Stoneworks, which is they do granite countertops. And then we have Esquire Advertising, which is a huge advertising firm out of the Raleigh Triangle area.
So you are, you're like a one-man PR department. I mean, your reach is pretty. You have some pretty long arms, bringing in people that are all tangential to what you do. But it takes a village. It's a community project.
It does, because I also, with our our sponsors, did I cover all of them? I covered all 9, right? I'm pretty good at knowing them off the back of my hand.
I don't have them in front of me,
that's okay.
so I can't say
that's
that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So I also, it's not just with a commitment, and it's interesting we're having this show now because we're obviously always want to gain like annual sponsors, but instead of just writing a check and just kind of, donating, we involve our sponsors. They come on deliveries with us.
Right.
They come do physical deliveries, or they'll do a bed build, or we'll do a bed giveaway, and they come in hands-on. Their companies or themselves, the owners, get to come in and do the physical deliveries and see where their money and their donations are going, and tying it to that emotion the donation touches and sees is really important and really impactful. And that's why most of them have been multi-year sponsors and continue to renew every year.
Let's come back in the third set. I want to talk to you a little bit about what happened in Western North Carolina.
Okay.
I think you got involved in that as well.
Working on it.
You are. This is All Things Moore County. Our guest is Keith Moneymaker. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our third set of All Things Moore County. Keith Moneymaker from Sweet Dreams in Southern Pines, and the founder of DREAMS4ALL, a foundation that is helping a lot of agencies here in Moore County. And he's in the process of spreading his wings outside of the county with the concept that he's kind of mastering at this point. I would say you are
working on it.
You are.
It's just everybody's got the ability to take a dream, regardless of what it is, and just dig.
Yeah,
you just got to dig on it, and where there's a will, there's a way, and there's a figure it out button.
What did you think a month or so ago with Helene when it came through, and we saw all the social media posts about what's happened in Western North Carolina? People that I know making road trips up, donating, raising monies.
So the thing with a disaster like that is there's so much going out there, right? There's so much going on. There's so much havoc, and everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to contribute, and that's great. And that's awesome to see everybody coming together for that. Tons of local businesses from our county, and if you multiply that by all the counties in the state that we're helping, people out of state that we're helping,
right.
There's so much influx, of donations and resources, right? So I imagine it's one thing. It's amazing to have all the help, and I don't want to get any lashback for this, but that's a lot on the people to receive on the end, right? Unless there's some organization
with
there.
no system in place.
There's no system in place. It's very I can only imagine some places where there was what we call a donation disaster, where people want to help, but stuff was just showing up. And I talked to somebody, I think they were extremely grateful, and I know people are grateful, but somebody was like, we have enough water to last us for 150 years, and that takes up space. So some girl was like, well, I'm sending up filtration straws, and that was brilliant. So that's great. You save space with that and stuff. So at the end of the day, I'm always for people helping, and that's what everybody does. But because I've experienced this already, I kind of had I'm not going to just roll up there with a bunch of beds seeing who needs them, because I know the timeline and the space and what exactly is needed.
Yep.
I don't really know the timeline when people are going to need stuff, but I do know they will when they move back in their homes, or when the shelter has too many people to take on, or when the boys camp or the blind camp, whatever the case is, whatever camp maybe that they were homing people at, just had a little bit of damage, but they lost a lot of stuff. We have the ability with the relationships that I've fostered in the past with DREAMS4ALL to give mattresses back. And I've reached out to a couple places, and it's interesting, the conversations that I've talked to the people in charge, the mindset on that end, they said, yes, please. Yeah, we need beds. And then I turn around, I was ask them, even they really don't know what they need, because when I asked, I was well, what's your plan to do with them? I was we're just going to store them until people need them. And I'm you don't have to like store them. Like I can just bring them to you when you need them. So the idea that this resource is going to run out really is worrisome to people. Like there's obviously going to be a lot of water, there's going to be a lot of food, there's going to be a lot of clothes and a lot of some shelters provided.
Right.
But big things like this, like I mean, every single person I talked to 10 different people that were in different counties, and every people were like ready for me to just bring up a truck of beds, but there was no plan to do with it. So I pumped the brakes. I said, just listen. I said, they were worried that it was going to run out. I said, listen, we're not going to run out. We're going to have the beds to fulfill. When you have a distribution plan, so whatever place you're distributing products from, or you have like 10 families moving back in, we can bring beds up to facilitate that. So ideally, we'll take beds up by the tractor trailer load or the 26-foot truck. We're not going to take onesies and twosies. So we need my goal is to find the distribution points and somebody that has a plan.
Right.
So we
Makes
did talk
sense.
to a lady who did request about a half tractor trailer of beds for families that have all moved back in into like a mobile home park.
How many beds would a half tractor trailer be?
So we're providing mattresses, the beds for them to go on, pillows, sheets, and mattress protectors, all facilitated by my manufacturers, Bed Gear, Tempur-Pedic.
Including the sheets?
Mm-hmm. So they're going to get about, I'd probably say 60-something beds,
Wow.
60 or 70 beds, and we've had the ability to just be able to do that. Super grateful to be able to just have the relationships in place to say yes. A lot of stores struggle with saying yes to 1 or 2 beds, and these relationships we've fostered have really proven to be fruitful.
I'm listening to everything that you're doing, and I can't help but think in the back of my mind that there's got to be some sort of a financial investment on your part to keep this thing going. So you have to do a lot of fundraising as well.
We do our 9 sponsors, they donate a set amount every year. One of them's an in-kind, but everybody else is a monetary donated sponsor. But then we also host a fundraiser every year. So collected between the two, like we're able to maintain kind of our operating expenses, which really comes down to like fulfilling the gaps. We don't always get all the sheets and the tiny things that we need, but there's gases, insurance, and trucks, like the shifting around, the warehousing of the ability to house all these products.
Yeah.
The websites, the forums, the systems to make sure these things facilitate to the local entities, stuff like that.
Is everything warehoused at your Sweet Dreams location?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the warehouses are shared with Sweet Dreams and Dreams4ALL.
How big is that building?
57,000 square feet.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. So it's the back 10% of the old Gulliston car factory.
Oh my gosh.
I kind of took a risk, right? So we had a small space for Sweet Dreams, and then we were getting to use beds, not taking up a lot of space. In the end of 2022, a big manufacturing relationship came through, and they wanted to send us like 70 tractor trailers of product. So I said yes without an answer. I don't know where to put it, actually.
Where to put it, right.
And that space wasn't available at the time, so I just called in some favors at different locations and kind of made it all work. And ever since then, the floodgates opened. I can call Tempur-Pedic anytime and get a truck of beds, and they'll actually, when we find the place for them to deliver, I've already talked to them right after the storm happened. I'll be able to get them to send a truck straight to the mountains, so it doesn't have to come to me first.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. Your father and mother were in the business. Are they still? Are they around?
Oh, they're retired, enjoying the grandkids. I've got 4 kids, and my brother has 1. They've got a farm up in Carthage, and yeah. So my parents are kind of doing their own thing. They love being, they're really involved in our kids' lives. So we're grateful for that.
They must be very proud of you, what you're doing. Maybe in their wildest dreams, they didn't see you taking a mattress business and having it morph into a wonderful community service project.
Yeah. I don't think they definitely didn't see it either, right? It's business is in a lot of people's senses is like transactional. It's just like, we're in business, we're making money for our family, we're doing good, we're paying our bills. But I think you see it all the time. Nobody ever remembers, I'm going to go deep here. Nobody remembers the rich dead guy with a yacht. It's like, what are we chasing? We're chasing money, or are we chasing purpose? I think those things that we chase are trying to fulfill gaps that we don't know we need. And through business, you can use your vehicle to drive that purpose. You can use it to raise money and take care of your family, set your family up for success. But I think success is defined by the amount of people's lives you impact, not by how much money you make.
I could not agree with you more.
Thank you.
I know a lot of people who have the wrong formulas. You do not. And kudos to your folks, because they raised you, obviously, the right way. Is your brother involved in the business with you?
He's at the warehouse. He works over at the warehouse. He likes the forklift, so he's
Okay.
he likes organization and keeping things clean and stuff like that. So he stays at the warehouse into things. I'm on the mattress and I'm on the retail side of things.
Well, after 15 years doing the show, and it's long overdue that we had you on.
Well, thank you.
Let me. Where can people get in touch with you? Do they want to send them to your website?
So for Dreams for All, it's dreams4all.org. Dreams the number 4 all.org. It's our brand new site. We actually just had that hall donated by a very grateful new in-kind partner. They did our whole website, have a whole platform, a dashboard for our partners that we're going to bring in. So it'll be a whole program that they've donated at all. It was like a $25,000 contribution for us. So,
And that would be the best place to reach you.
to reach me directly would be Keith at dreams4all.org, KEITH. So anything creative, or if you're a nonprofit that maybe we haven't helped or touched yet, we'd love to get involved and help you out.
One last question: have you looked into grants?
So, little tidbit of news: we're hiring an executive director for 2025. I'm going to still be here. I'm still going to help with it. I say I'm going to still help. I'm going to still be here, and I'm going to be in the background, but I'm still going to foster the relationships and be here in the community. But it needs to have someone's full attention. So we've met with a great lady. So it'll be her and Leanna that are going to be kind of heading things up 2025 and making sure that I'm fulfilling the promises that I've put out there.
Right.
You know, because I've got the mattress store going on. You know, the nonprofit's got a lot of growth left. It's a ton of growth left. I mean, this could be a global thing. Like, I'm not stopping. Like, there's need everywhere. So this could be a heck of a giving machine for people to be involved in. And then I've got 4 kids under 10, so I want to maintain flexibility. They're homeschooled right now. Be able to make sure I don't regret not spending too much time at work. And then I'm actually buying another business in Moore County, which I'll announce that on my social media in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So I want to make sure Dreams for All has its attention because it is my passion project.
It shows.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you came in, and I know you have places to go, and you're moving around so quickly, but we appreciate you coming in, Keith.
Absolutely.
And I will get in touch with you about donations as
Okay.
we go from our company, because I think it's very viable
Thank
and
you.
important. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bill.
This is All Things Moore County. Have a great week.